Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning in United States of America and good evening in Pakistan and all other countries. This is me, Asim Shahzad with you. And like every day, we have uh, one dif- different guest in our show. And today in my show, I have very honorable and respectable guest with me, Miss Carley. She's from United States of America. She is running his own business. I really thanks her. She get a time to come in my show in his busy schedule. I would like to request and I would like to welcome Ms. Carly in my show, and then I will request him to introduce her in to my viewer. What is Carla doing? So welcome, Miss Carly.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, same here. Miss Carly, can you introduce yourself uh, in front of my viewers or audience? So we will come to our normal topic.
Okay, my name's Carley Montgomery. I grew up in Southern California, south of Los Angeles. I've been living in Central America for about the last 5 years. Originally in Costa Rica, which is south of here, and now in Guatemala. I'm currently working on a project to plant gardens for all the families and the communities here in Guatemala, and our plan is to take it worldwide. I have multiple businesses that I run. My background is a design and construction. I'm a general contractor in the United States, and down here I'm building a tiny home and doing some remodeling projects on the property that I'm living on. I also have a online store that sells artisan goods called Boho Trader, and I have an art gallery.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Ms. Carly, as you said, you have been working in construction site. I just want to know about that. Mostly in construction field is a very tough field. You know, it's only gents. Most of the gents they are related to this field. But how you decided, like you have to come in this field, construction? So either it's easy for you, either you are facing any difficulties or issues. How did you manage to survive in the construction field? Can you share with me your experience about the construction?
That's interesting. So my father's a contractor in the United States. When I was about 4 years old, I started going to work with him, and I loved it. But my dad didn't ever let me get my hands dirty or work in the field. I wanted to, dig dirt, and he let me play around in the equipment, and that was about it. And so when I ended up going to the East Coast for culinary school and dropped out of culinary school to work in a fish market. Next door to the fish market was a man who had a tractor business, and he was an old farmer, and he was taking the tractors and putting in big, huge, expansive lawns and brush cutting big areas for very wealthy people that lived in the area. And so he offered me a job one winter when the fish store closed down. And from there, I got back into construction. I was operating heavy equipment. I learned carpentry. I did dry stone masonry work. I got my truck driver's license, so I drove dump truck and operated heavy equipment for multiple construction companies. I finally ended up back in LA, where I got a job working for a big demolition company, a really big corporation. They're the biggest demolition company in the United States. And I started doing project management and estimating and sales. And from there, I was seeing how many contracts were going out to women-owned businesses in construction. So to get in on that, I got my contractor's license. I started my own construction company and worked in airports mostly for the next few years. And then I kind of took a tumble in the airports. It really wasn't feeding my soul. And my friends were all developing real estate, buying properties and fixing them up and selling them. And I was like, gosh, that looks like so much fun. I want to design stuff, you know, like I was really loving the design world. So I started doing that. And for the next 5 years or so, that's what I did in LA until I moved to Costa Rica. And when I got to Costa Rica, I had a bit of a spiritual awakening that really showed me that ripping into the land and doing construction the way I wasn't very conscious, and it was contributing to our problems. So I really got into natural building and permaculture and started integrating that into my design business. Right now, we work with wellness brands and properties to activate them and intentional community spaces. I've, now I'm more on the business side of construction. I don't get my hands dirty so much anymore, but I do love carpentry, and I still do work with wood when I can.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Miss Carley, I just want to know about your uh, qualification, your academic qualification, education. What did you get it like a specific education for construction, or just you have to go through like your dad is already a contractor, so you have to follow all your dad, so you come in industry.
Unfortunately, my dad didn't really let me get into construction. It was after I left home and got to work in the field that I really got my experience. I only have a high school education. I never really liked school. I felt really tortured there. And I didn't want to go to college. I didn't see any point in it. I don't really believe in our education system as it is. I don't think education's bad. I think that children
Exactly,
naturally have a desire and a curiosity, and the way that we educate children is very abusive, and it's very much
exactly,
programming them to be the perfect workforce or whatever, instead of allowing children and learning from them, really, like they have all the creativity. So I'm a big fan of experiential learning and learning on site, getting your hands dirty. That's the way I learn best. So I really hope that we change the ways that we even teach children so they don't have to get tortured like I was in school.
exactly. This is what, like in mostly our part of the area, in our countries, most of the young guy or lady, when they have a completed their higher education, like 16th grade, 18th grade, so like they are spending most half of their life in 16 year, 18 year in the education. After that, they are thinking we have to maybe get a government job, but in formal education and skill based education is far different. It's much far different. So it means they have a very struggle life when it's come to a practical life. When they enter in the practical, they have to face lot of problem. So it's mean this formal education in uh, our universities and college, they are not teaching our children that kind of skill. So they when they will come up in their practical life, so it will help them to grow like in a more decent way, more professional way. Do you think this is uh, reasonable, good, and we have to make a changing for this our education sector?
Yeah, I definitely think I think right now in the world, seeing how many of our systems are falling apart, and one of them is education. Education was developed a long time ago by the people that and the industrial revolution, and they really wanted to make the perfect workforce and dumb us down because then we're easier to control. It's like your initiation into getting programmed by the mass media and stuff like that. I I believe that children right now are missing some really important life skills like gardening, cooking, like of course reading, writing, and math. that's such a powerful thing. Everyone gets to learn that in this world. I also have learned through different types of schooling that we try to impress even reading into children when they're too young developmentally. Like they learn it much easier at an older age than when we start programming them in like kindergarten. But yeah, I'm all about these unschooling, homeschooling, Waldorf schooling, life education project. There's so many out there that are really working with children and bringing community together to raise the children together. That's another thing that's really missing, especially in the United States, where people just send their children off to school and like they don't think about it. They don't get active in the child's education. It's a very big problem that we have, and I
Exactly.
think it's around the
Exactly.
world that happens. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, but I think that education should start at home. And oh, the other one that children never learn, and I think it's the most important one, is just entrepreneurship. Like teaching children how to like empower them to do what they're passionate about and how to make money at that,
Exactly.
how to run a business and how to,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's super important.
Exactly. Exactly. So, like in this, that's why I'm telling, I'm adding this point in your conversation also. Like we have to work out other our children they are getting the formal education. So beside that, they should have some technical skill also, some technical knowledge also.
Mhm.
So when they are growing up, when they are uh, going to their practical life, so it will help them. So they don't need to panic. They don't need to facing any serious issue in their practical life. It is like we have to think for our children. This is a really good. Ms. Kale, I just want to know about this. Your background is a very simple, natural kind of background. That's why I thought I will select the topic so we can elaborate. We can discuss further this natural lifestyle. In your point of view, I just want to ask, what is the natural lifestyle? Can you explain in your own words, and why like people they get attracted from natural things?
Why do we get attracted to nature things? Is that it?
Yeah,
Well, we're animals, right? Human beings are another species of an animal. And I believe that one of the problems that's happening right now, especially in modern life, is that we're getting so separated from nature. Like in the types of environments that we live in more urban areas, like we're not getting good air quality. We're not getting good. We're in
exactly.
synthetic materials all day. My vision for a really healthy lifestyle is to live in a very natural environment. Like this house that I live in is a mud shack. You know, it's made with mud walls, and the walls actually breathe. When you use natural building materials,
Exactly.
things breathe. Um, I love sleeping outside. I like to be as outside as possible. I mean, that's oh gosh, there's so much now that people have studied and reports out to talk about how important this is, and even the
Exactly.
materials that you use in the home,
Exactly.
using more natural products like wood, metal, earthen things like clay. If you saw my house, I have no plastic, like other than a few bottles of something that I keep. I try to refill. I really work to not create any trash in the world. That's a big initiative in my life, and I've been living this way for many years. And I mean, like my trash can in my whole house is about this big, and it takes me over a month to fill up.
Mm,
So I mean, that's how little trash I produce. I burn a lot of things. I love
yeah,
fire.
really, really, I have seen in your background like the mud and with a wood kind of this door. So really, it's back 40 year back, 50 year back. The people they are living in this kind of style, and now it's recently mostly people in rural area also. They don't want to living in this kind of lifestyle. So either do you think like in a rural area, our life is same like in urban area. So what is the difference between urban and rural area? Why people there uh, not prefer the natural life? Is God gifted, so we should adopt this kind of lifestyle. What is the our people mentality? Why they are not prefer this natural lifestyle?
You know, the what do you call it, the mass exodus or the influx of people going into urban areas has been going on for decades now. That young people grow up in rural America or rural anywhere, I would say, is probably across the globe, and they want to go to the cities for the opportunities because it's about work and you know it's the way that our society has changed and the jobs are in the cities and we've gotten rid of rural agriculture. Like the small farmer now doesn't really exist in the States. It's all big agribusiness and stuff, so there's less opportunities for the people in there, and I think that's been a really downfall of our society. It's not sustainable for us all to live on top of each other. It creates mass pollution, mass waste. Um, the more spread out we are, and we all have our own little piece of land that we get to garden and you know, caretake and produce for us and to connect with the earth, is I believe where we're probably going to be going in the next few decades because of all the unrest in the world right now, and people are really seeing how our modern civilization in urban areas is not sustainable.
Exactly, exactly. Uh, agree with you. Ms. Kale, if I talk about natural lifestyle advantage, so what you think, what are the advantage of if you are living in a natural way, natural lifestyle?
Well, I
What should,
believe that our bodies are really in tune with the earth. Like I know when I'm living like this and um,
yeah,
you know, living in a garden and stuff, like I mean, even just alone, just walking barefoot on the land does so much for our health to ground the energetics between the earth and our body and the frequencies and stuff. I'm also exposed to way less pollutants and chemicals in my environment. I make sure that I don't use heavy cleaning products, chemical cleaning products, or chemical body products. I know my food security is here. I have enough stuff growing in the garden right now to keep me fed for well, indefinitely, because I would just plant some more. But I definitely have an abundant garden now and don't need to buy food. I wish this for everybody in the world. The initiative that we have right now with the Huertos para Todos project, we provide gardens, we provide resources and help to install gardens in everyone's home. And the people that don't have space in their home, we help arrange for them to get a space on a piece of property near their home that doesn't have anything built on it, so that those properties actually have been quite the fallout um, of this project, is that a lot of these vacant lots were being trashed and people are just dumping trash on them. I mean, the cleanup that we have to do to get the land ready to put the garden on is pretty extensive. But now this piece of land is being cared for by a local community, like a family in the local community, and is clean and it's productive. Um, but I can't speak highly enough of us needing to get back to a natural way of lifestyle and away from the modern conveniences. And it's kind of fun, you know, we do still get our digital connection like this, like I get to talk with you. Um, but uh, yeah, the city urban lifestyle is very, I think it's really going to be not as popular moving forward.
exactly, exactly. Ms. Kale, if I'll talk about like our natural resources, then how can we manage to save our natural resources? Do you think, like in this modern period or modern times, mostly our natural resources they are getting damaged due to the pollution, air pollution, environmental pollution. So how we have to come up and save our natural resources,
I think
like being a human. Yeah,
this is the conversation about regenerative versus sustainable. Like a lot of the conversations right now say sustainable, sustainable. To sustain where we're at right now is not going to turn the tide on where we've taken the destruction in the earth, but really talking about regeneration. Like, how are we as humans putting back and like putting our energy back into regenerating our environment? That's why I'm working with the Seeds cryptocurrency. So Seeds is a regenerative back coin, and it works a lot the same as PayPal does. It has a passport, so you can just trade money easily back and forth, like person to person. But what it does is, instead of just being, it's a hybrid coin. Instead of it just being a normal cryptocurrency or a fiat dollar, it goes to support regenerative projects. So I have this Huertos para Todos. They've given me a grant to help plant these gardens for people. So it looks at the people, it looks at the planet, it looks at bioregions as a whole, and comes up with full system plans to regenerate the earth. And when people use this coin instead of using a PayPal, they are, just by putting their money in circulation in this cryptocurrency and electing to use it, they're regenerating the earth, because the projects that are being supported by the cryptocurrency are actually regenerating. They're not just sustaining what we're doing.
exactly, exactly, exactly. Scully, if I'll added this point, I will elaborate this point. Why is management of natural resources needed to be protected?
Well, how long do you think we can keep sucking the blood out of the earth before she's going to come up dry? You know, we all know that Bucky Fuller is one of my heroes. Like, I've been studying Buckminster Fuller since I was much younger, and he was around in the mid-century saying, like, look, this is spaceship Earth. We only have a finite amount of resources. We need to protect them, right? We need to watch our consumption. It's really about watching consumption. Like, I'm not saying everything's bad or that plastics don't have a place in our world. I mean, ask any mother, she loves plastic because her baby's not going to get cut on glass, you know? But it's our responsibility and our ethics around the way that we use our resources. And it's something, really what it comes down to is every single person making the choice to live a sustainable, a regenerative lifestyle, and know that there's a really beautiful thing that happens with the earth. When we, as guardians of the earth, put our love back into it, she loves us more. So you get this energy flow going once you connect back with Mother Gaia, and it doesn't need to take a lot. I mean, I don't know if you know about forest bathing. Have you heard of this? It's out of Japan. It's it's an actual technique that you go and you sit in the forest and just soak up the nature. And this type of healing, I think, is the real medicine. I think this is what can really heal people's ailments. They say that most people get cancer like 4 times in their life. It's just unlucky that you went to the doctor at that time and got diagnosed, because most of us fight it off. Our body's able to, our immune systems are able to go in and combat it and get rid of it. But I think it's daily practices like connecting with nature and exercise and things like that that build our immunities and build our bodies strong. So it's really our relationship with her. And so, like, the way we treat the earth is the way we're really treating ourselves. So how you how greedy you are with the resources of the earth, what is that saying about you and your own love for yourself, and what and your own values, and that stuff affects us on so many levels. Of how we treat things outside of ourselves is really how we're treating ourselves.
And what, if I ask you, what should be kept in mind while managing our natural resources? What are the things do you uh, thinking that it should be in our mind while going to our natural resources?
I think it's really about being responsible and taking our own, like, the word, I'm learning Spanish right now, so sometimes like I can't come up with the English word and I can only think of the Spanish or um it's our own personal responsibility. It's our own
Exactly.
everyday
Yes.
decisions. You know, it's just taking your
Exactly.
cloth bag with you or reusing your plastic bag when you go to the market. I mean, just simple little things like that. It's every little thing that you do and being from a responsible place.
Exactly. Exactly. Uh, Agree with you. Like being we being a sole responsible person, we should come up to protect our natural resources and for environmental also. Do you think this uh, in urban like in urban area, rural area also, this environmental pollution is growing on in last few years? What in what is your point of view? Like in a rural area, our people, they are also not aware of the natural resources. They should come up to know about what is this natural resources and how they have to protect them. So, do you think this environmental pollution is increasing, same like urban area?
My sense is that we haven't really done the tipping point where we're going back to helping the earth. I still feel like we're over consuming. I mean, just by the products that are being sold in the earth and that are popular right now. Uh, yeah, yeah. In my feeling is we haven't done the tipping point. I don't have any data or anything like that that I could speak intelligently about what is happening right now. Actually,
Exactly. And Ms. Carla, if I'll ask you or share you this natural lifestyle, this simple living lifestyle, then how can we uh, like reduce? Uh, do you think this natural lifestyle reducing the like diseases, the people who are living in the urban area, they have most of the time issues like air pollution. Due to air pollution, they are not getting a good uh, quality food also. So when you are living in a rural area, especially you are growing most of the vegetable in your farm in your field. So do you think this our food, they are more responsible for bringing diseases, such kind of diseases that we have not heard about like in 30 or 40 years before?
I think our disease issue right now in the world is compounded by a lot of factors. I do believe that our environments are the number one cause of our illness. So, environmental factors being everything from chemicals, you know, like what toxins are in our environment, emotional, physical, mental, all of those bodies are things that can get out of balance that turn into disease. And in our fast paced lives, like our human nature was not made to be this stressed out. Like anxiety, sleeplessness, depression, all these things are like the percentage of the population that's experiencing these really debilitating problems is really high right now. And I think that has to do with our lifestyle, it has to do with our environments. One of my, so on your question, being in a natural, more rural environment, of course, is going to help a lot of these things for a lot of people. But it's not to say that if you are in those environments that you can't do things to bring yourself back, right? So meditation, connecting with nature, actually getting yourself outdoors in a park. Thank God we have parks, you know? Um,
Exactly.
Slowing down. Like I think us going so fast is part of our problem too with our health. Being able to tune into your body, like that's something that our society and this like mainstream media kind of programming has been, it's along the lines of like, you don't know better than your doctor, only your doctor knows best. And I'm on the opposite. It's like, your doctor doesn't live in your body every single day, day in, day out. Like, use your intuition. Like, you know what you need more than anything. And there's ways and there's techniques. I could even teach people how to use a pendulum, use muscle testing to test for supplements and test for different things, emotional clearing and things like that, that we could all be doing on a daily basis to really make sure that we're running at tip-top speed. Natural medicine, I believe, is the true medicine. That this newer allopathic brand, and I'm not saying it's bad. I actually use it when I need it. There's a lot of medical advances that we've made in medical care, but I think for the most part, allopathic medicine really misses a holistic picture of health. And like holistic, I mean emotional health, physical health, mental health. You know, there's so many memes right now with everything going on, but they're like talking about, well, if they're going to mandate vaccines, are they going to mandate healthy living too? You know, like, why can't we just be looking at what we naturally need and what's important for us as human beings? Instead of talking about all these prophylactic things we could do, like if vaccines did work, which I have serious doubt to their efficacy or of their safety, but nothing, I don't think anything is more important than our own commitment to our own health and our own immunity and really taking care of our bodies. After all, our body is the only thing that we really own in this world. That's it.
Exactly.
And when it's done, there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. So, Miss Carley, I just wonder also, like in this time, like in this modern period, most of, even though from urban area, people, they are fed up their normal life. They want to live a natural or simple lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly, most of the people, they prefer to natural lifestyle. It's a God gifted natural beauty. Like the area, most of the area that their beauty is God gifted. It's natural beauty. No, natural beauty, it attract all the human being. So, what do you think? These nowadays people, they are focusing, or they are thinking about same living lifestyle like 40, 50 years before they are living. If they will adopt same living lifestyle, so we can reduce our anxiety, we can reduce our stress, we can reduce our physical mentalities or physical issue. Do you think this is really helping for our physical asset, physical point of view?
I hope. Right now we're at a crossroads, right? With what's happening right now, they call it the Great Awakening. They're like, it's not just a pandemic. It's like, this is waking people up. It's shaking them to their core of like,
Exactly.
important to you. And only like, I can't predict the future. What I could say,
Exactly.
which is for the future, is that this
Exactly.
would pull up to the people that have been controlling them, the powers that be, these systems that are breaking down and crumbling right now, and that people really start to see that natural medicine is powerful. It's what we can. Spirituality is a big part of our health. Gosh, there's so many things that I've learned in the last 5 years since I've really become awake that I really hope that people are getting right now. And
Exactly.
yeah, and so it could be so beautiful coming out of this thing. I just feel like humanity is just sitting at all these crossroads right now, and we're like, which way do we go? Like, and it's like everything from like one world order, global governance, one currency, all controlled by the World Bank, to like completely decentralized living. We all go back to like living off the land, and I'm going this way. Like that, like I'm going as far away from that that central bank, you know, everyone gets chipped and vaccinated model over to the healthy side of
Mhm.
like, let's connect back with the earth, let's connect back with each other. The biggest thing too right now, and this is so, I feel like everything that I do believe that there's a deep state and that there's powers that be right now that are trying to get their way, right? But I also
Exactly.
like everything that they do is like a cause and reaction. So like they like, let's have a pandemic. Well, that actually ended up waking up a bunch of people to how like awful you guys are. Like you guys were kind of riding under the radar, controlling everything. No one really knew what was going on. And now it's like, oh, people see you now. So now they do this thing like the riots. Like we know it's planned. We have so much video of showing and proof and evidence showing that these riots are being instigated by the wealthy to destabilize our country so that they can have more control over the situation. And what is all this stuff doing? It just keeps waking people up to how
Exactly.
the system is. So
Exactly. This is the point I am want to come.
yeah,
Exactly. We have to give get aware of our people that this natural lifestyle can reduce so many things. The modern lifestyle, the most of the people they are adopted. It is created lot of issue for them. This is the thing that I want to come in. Exactly. You.
you know, you gotta like everyone needs to take responsibility back. That's I think what's been totally stripped from our consciousness is that like the what I was saying about allopathic medicine, the major narrative I've ever gotten from a Western medical doctor is don't read the stuff on the internet. Don't do your own research. Trust me. Only trust me. I'm the one who went to school for this. Well, really, you went to school and got extra programmed. Like you believe all this stuff hook, line, and sinker. Like I believe that doctors go in that path because they really do have doctors and nurses because they really do believe they want to help people. But I think somewhere along the lines, they kind of get grabbed into this system that indoctrinates them with this medicine that really doesn't work so well. But all along in this whole thing, we get messages saying, "Do not trust your instinct." That's what they use in. It's really propaganda, is what
Exactly.
advertising is. It's not. It's beyond advertising. It's beyond just letting people
Exactly.
know about the product. It's like,
Exactly.
I mean, there are patents showing how they use the television to control and do mind programming, basically. So um, it's a it's about right now really noticing what's happening in the world with the programs and taking back 100% responsibility for yourself. Like everything that you put in your body, you don't go to the doctor and just take whatever they do. I always, if I get a prescription, I go home and read up all about it before I take it. I weigh out all the side effects. It's my body. Like
Exactly.
that they're trying to force vaccinations and stuff like that, which they've already done in a lot of countries. Like even in Costa Rica, where I was living, like your children have to be vaccinated to go to school. In the U.S. and Costa Rica, I know that Child Protective Services can come and force a vaccination on your children if you're not willing to get them. That's freaky, especially knowing that there is evidence to support that these things are not safe and that they're causing major health problems. Um,
Exactly.
we I was watching something the other day and it made up a really good point is like our right now it used to be like 12% of children back when I was a kid 12% of children had what did they call it like really bad diseases
Yes.
uh, like extreme diseases. Now 54% of the population has these really bad diseases. Now, that rate has increased with the vaccine rate increasing, but nobody will study this. Nobody
Exactly.
actually studies these things. The vaccine companies have total immunity. They don't get charged for any like deaths or diseases and stuff that people are coming up with. Now, if we can't look at those numbers alone and start to make decisions about if this is safe and if this is what we should be doing to our children, I don't know how much more obvious it has to get before people start waking up, and like questioning, like I couldn't imagine injecting the stuff that they have in vaccines into a child. There's no effing way I would do that. I even stopped vaccinating my dogs. I mean, rabies vaccine, mind you. But like, I had my dog got really sick. I gave it a parvo vaccine when it was a puppy. She got so sick. And I was sitting there like questioning, why did I do this? I don't believe in vaccines for humans, but I went and did this for my dog because I thought she needed it to go travel. And now I realize, like, we're so brainwashed of like, this is just what you do. You don't think about it. You just do it. That's what happens. I have the same problem with circumcision, but like we could leave that one for another.
Exactly,
I think that's
exactly.
horrible. Like we should not be cutting little babies. That's awful.
Really, Ms. Carley, is wonderful our session, and very healthy conversation also. Really, I did lot, very enjoy to talk to you. Um, our people, they should come up to adopt this natural lifestyle. It will definitely will help you, not from you, your generation, your children. So I think it will be a huge come up for us that we should think about seriously living in a natural lifestyle. So hopefully it will get uh, soon. So, Ms. Kale, as you know, our show time is almost finished. Now we are going to wind up now. In the end, I will request you any kind of message you want to give for our audience, our viewers. So then we will close up our show.
I just want to empower people, right? So
Exactly.
you don't live in nature and you do live in an urban, think of all the things that you can bring into your home to make it feel more natural. House plants,
Exactly.
they're oxygen bombs. Like plant your home full of house plants. Be cautious of the chemicals that you have in your house. Maybe not have them at all. There's always an alternative for every chemical cleaner that you might have. Look at the ingredients in your beauty products and make sure that like they're really natural. That stuff's absorbing into your skin, which is your biggest organ in your body, and you're poisoning. I mean, it's very
Exactly.
clear. And just be aware of your carbon footprint of what you do. Like eat locally, like get vegetables that are grown near your home. Don't be shipping them in from very far away. That the carbon footprint of that is horrible. Your clothing, I don't buy any new clothing anymore. It's only secondhand and handmade clothing. Every little piece of your life, just think about what impact that's having on the environment, and with that, what it has on you.
Exactly. Really, Ms. Carle, once again, very, very thankful to you that you join me and take out your time from your busy schedule. So hopefully we will do join again and we will discuss same healthiest topic. So once again, very, very thanks.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Hopefully we will join again soon. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks.